Welcome to another one of my theories or theories that I've thought about as I do when I'm driving. Things just sort of, we have shower thoughts and think things. And there's something I like to call the vulnerability myth where it comes to women in regards to relationship to the opposite sex, life, society, etc. But especially men and in personal relationships. I call it the vulnerability myth. Not to say that women are or aren't vulnerable, but rather the way that we spin vulnerability or market vulnerability is really, really interesting. So let's get into it. So, what prompted this whole thing was several conversations with a friend of mine. And I said, what drives me crazy that we have so little nuance in trying to understand relationships to ourselves, the world, society, and to the opposite sex, etc. And this idea that like women are vulnerable, they're the vulnerable sex, and they need men to protect them. We need, let's say, men to protect us from other men, but within a relationship, I don't see vulnerable women. I don't know a single vulnerable woman. I don't know what that means because when I look around at my life, every woman that I know that is married, partnered, a mother is the stronger spouse easily. Easily. I don't know, you know, I don't know many men that can withstand a tenth of what the average woman is put through in her short lifespan, without completely crashing out or like going completely off the rails. So if you think about, um, I just find it so funny. It's like I think they have a vision of the way women should be treated because they are precious flowers. They're precious jewels made by God to perpetuate the species. But we're not treated in this manner. So it's extremely dualistic to say, you are vulnerable. I have to take good care of you, except that I'm not. And also when I don't say anything. It's really, really strange. So what happened was I was listening to those like really entertaining Reddit stories that are put on like TikTok. I don't even know that game where the person's like chasing coins. You just like hypnotize and you listen. And that man, he was on there and I'm sorry this happened to him. I don't know obviously I don't know her side of the story, etc. But he said he was in an argument with his wife over something, and she used it as an example. She said something to the effect of, "You don't get everything you want in life. I wish I had $100,000 and that you had a bigger." And it hurt him so bad. I believe I don't remember exactly, but I believe he filed for divorce over it. He like could not get over it. He couldn't get over it. He couldn't get over it. And the comments were insane. They were probably written by teenagers, okay, who were like, yeah, you need to leave. That's ground for divorce. That's grounds for divorce. And she said it in the heat of the moment. She probably thinks it. He goes, I've always known, but I always thought I made up for it in other ways. Okay, let me just break it down for you really quickly. A video I just posted where I tell you not to date for potential. Men don't wait for you to make up for one characteristic with another. You're either the whole package to them or you're not. So that's the first thing, okay? So she already cut him slack by marrying him. The second thing is, my first question was, I really want to hear from her because I'm very, very convinced up until that point, he has probably hurt her feelings 100,000 times and commented on her body countless times in a negative way. And for her to say something once and for you to completely lose it, I don't even know what to say. To get hit with papers? Who's the stronger sex? Like who's really vulnerable? Who's really weak? So that was really funny to me because I thought, oh, what? I've had my body commented on before I even hit puberty. You know what I mean? Get over it. It's just crazy to me. And then when I used to say this to people, I used to say it's my whole life, since I was like 16, I said, I don't know what's this talk about cheating and abuse. You ask me, hurt feelings are grounds for divorce. And my personal philosophy is if something makes sense to you when you're young and it still makes sense to you 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, it's probably true. So I clearly said that quite a while ago. And people are like, oh, that's so immature. That's so childish. Listen to me. No, it's not. Because men don't tolerate disrespect. Why do you think there's holes all over the walls, all over the houses across North America? Okay. So I thought, yes, it is, because this is someone who claims to love you more than anyone, made a vow before God in a sacred covenant. It's a sacred union. There's a sanctity to marriage. Marriage has a lot of value, whether you care for it or not. Life responds to you differently when you're married, okay? And they mistreat you within that vow, within that bond, in that context. And third of all, they know you better than anyone. So for them to go out of their way to hurt you and for you to have to keep letting things slide, to me, is a form of self-abuse and insanity. Okay? At the end of the day, who do you have to blame if you stay? So I was thinking about it and I said, women put up with so much verbal comments, expectations on appearance, expectations for motherhood, and now too bringing in money into the home, maintaining relationships on both sides of the families, and what, you're not allowed to be upset? I'm human. Are you not too? And so I said this to my friend. I said, you know what's really interesting? A lot of the times, partners of these people who claim to love them do not even fathom, they don't capture in their mind's eye, in their imagination, they don't capture their humanity. They don't think of you as mortal. They don't. You are immortal to them. They literally think you're not in a cool superhero way where like you can't die, you're like Wolverine or something. They literally, if you worked, parented, wifed, mothered, in-lawed until you dropped, okay, they'd be boo-hooing and sad for a hot minute. They'd step over your corpse and go find someone else, okay? They don't perceive you as someone who's tired, needing of rest, needing of care, da 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 da. All right. So you have to give that to yourself. All right. So how are you vulnerable if you're able to do 5 things and they only do one thing and they complain? Do you see what I mean? It's like a bit of a myth. It's a bit of a, I swear, it's like a brainwashing or like some sort of collective societal spell that was cast upon some like incel, and we've all fallen for it. All right. So if you're vulnerable, if you're the vulnerable sex, that means you are entitled to rest. You are obligated to take things easy. And something I never understood is the glorification of busyness. This actually isn't very important to women. Why are you doing it? I don't get it, especially the ones who claim to be faithful. I don't understand. Does it not say on the seventh day God rested? If the Lord took rest after creating creation in 6 days, why are you stressed 7 days a week? This is not to be had. It's blasphemous. It's not allowed. Okay. So if you're not with someone who encourages your rest, anticipates your needs, pampers you, you need to give that to yourself. Okay. First and foremost. So this vulnerability thing is so interesting. It's like a double-edged sword where it's like you're supposed to be soft, you're supposed to be, vulnerable, da da da, but also I'm gonna run you into the ground. No, it's one or the other. If you treat me like a mule, I have the right to buck and kick back, okay? And if you treat me like a precious flower, I'm gonna bloom. But you can't have it both ways. You can't have it both ways. And it's not, I promise you, it's not the infantilization of women. I've seen some people on TikTok say, why do we glorify infantilizing women, wanting them to be treated like children and spoiled? I mean, that's just affection. Like, why don't you say that to dudes? They have a crazy expectation of all those things. So just keep it real. Be real with yourself and be real with everything that you see. And that's it. That's all it really takes. So if you're truly a strong man, you're not actually threatened by a woman's need to be soft and be gentle and live intuitively. And that's something I really didn't appreciate with my previous partner. He said, what are you doing this weekend? I'd say, I don't know, I don't have plans. He's like, well, how do you not know what you're going to do? I was like, look, you want to make plans, you make plans, be my guest. But I live intuitively. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead. I have 15 things to do today. It's Monday. Tomorrow's Tuesday. I have 30 things to do on Tuesday. When Saturday rolls around, if I feel like sleeping, I'm going to sleep. If I get my period, I'm not getting out of bed for 2 days. Like, what's it to you? Leave me alone. And if you care, you would facilitate my rest. But see, they don't think like that. A lot of them. Not everyone. A lot of them. There's obviously good men. There's good men who would. There's men, not a lot, but there are men today that are so devoted to their partners. They're literally serving sentences. They have forfeited their liberty to defend their spouse, to defend their family or something, okay? So there are people like that. But if you're going to find one like that, you don't do it by being a mule. You do it by loving yourself. So you have to put yourself first. You have to acknowledge in all the ways that you need rest, that you need support, you need understanding, because you've been conditioned. You've been overly, and I know I'm speaking from experience, I'm speaking from my own life. You've been conditioned to think just because I can do it all means I have to do it. No, you don't. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. I changed my major in the first year of university. And when the office was asking me what was the reason, I said, I realized just because I can do something doesn't mean that I should. I want to do something I actually want to do. You know? And they were like, okay, whatever. And I was like, yeah, Whatever, indeed. It doesn't even matter. It matters to me, but that's the only person it has to matter to. So it only has to matter to you. So I hope this has been of some utility and some help to everyone. The myth of vulnerability, that women are weak and yet they tolerate so much and they never do anything about it, really. It's very, very interesting. So this is a 3-part video. And this is the last part, and that's all I'll say. Of course, I'm happy to respond to things, but please, if you're going to write me, consider nuance. I don't want to hear, well, I know my neighbor is happily married. Good for your neighbor. I don't care about your neighbor. I'm talking about the majority. Okay, I'm talking about the most people. It's called generalizing, okay? So think deeply about it. If you're in a position where you feel like you can't be all things to all people, this is insane. Look around you. Look who actually is. Those people usually are not very happy. You have to put yourself first. Life goes a lot better for you when you do that. Anyways, I love you all, and until next time, I wish you all the best. I'm going to go live. I'm trying to go live a bit more. I'm endeavoring. There's just too much going on, and yeah, I'm still studying. I won't be done until almost winter, so it's been a hell of a year. But thank you for all your continued support and your viewership and just your friendship. We just have fun. We debate things. Actually, we have this running joke on TikTok that I'm going to start a cult, and I did actually pick up a couple of books today on cults. So we're going to have more fun. One of them was, actually, I just had it somewhere. It was like a Christian book, like how to spot cults, like when people come knocking to your door, what to say, what not to say, how not to fall for it. And I'm like, are we really that naive? I'm like, probably. I mean, yeah, probably. Human beings can be very trusting. In any case, thank you so much. I'm still offering readings on Etsy. What I really want to do is I'm going through a huge like overhaul of things. I don't know, do like a textbook drive or something where I like sell as many books as I can to use the money to buy my future textbooks. And I have so much like vintage stuff. I don't like wear it. I don't fit it to it anymore. And I'm not going to keep it. So I don't know. I'm thinking about it, like gurugrit vintage knit or something. I don't know. We'll think of it. We'll see how it goes. But thank you so much. I'll see you on TikTok. I'll see you on Instagram. Go find me on there. And yeah, until next time, if you have stories and experiences you'd like to share, questions, as long as they're constructive, and that's fine. If they're like, I don't know, like useless, it's okay. I don't need to. No one cares. They're like, why do you have a side part? Like, I don't know. Why did you write that? How about that? Thank you so much. Until next time, hope you have a beautiful week and you're enjoying your summer. And I do have a few questions I've yet to address, but I will get to it as always, I promise. It's just a matter of time. I love you all, and bye for now.